Well, hello again. It's been a wee minute. I try to say bit and minute. I will be right back. I've got something I need to mail off. Be right back. 2 and 2. Alright, I'm back. Forgot. I have an Ancestry DNA kit that I need to get mailed out. We're gonna see how this works. I bought a new purse, and with my old one, I could leave my keys on the strap when I'm driving, and just put my purse in the console, and just leave the keys attached to my purse. That way, I didn't ever have to worry about losing it, because my purse was also my phone holder. So, it kind of resolved all of those complications in a single bound. But when my daughter gave me a new phone, it's bigger than my old one, so it doesn't fit in my old purse. So I bought a new purse, which is funny because there's like nothing in it. It's like right now it's empty. It's got my phone, and it's got the little wallet that came with it that holds my keys, or my cards, and then my keys are hooked on the strap, and that's it. Won't be long knowing I'll have it filled with stuff, I'm sure. That's why I don't carry a purse, because I have that bad habit, like most women, I think. But I don't know where I was going with that. Sorry. But DNA kit, I did a 23andMe probably a year and a half ago, maybe. And what it came back for as my DNA, like my ancestry stuff, most of it coincided with what I had been told growing up, but some of it didn't. Like, I grew up being told that I was English, Irish, Scottish. And my DNA came back with 0 Scottish. And I was like, okay, well, wouldn't be the first time that I was lied to. So I kind of talked to my sisters about it, and, we're all kind of like, oh, well, okay. Well, then my aunt, my dad's biological sister, did Ancestry. And hers came back with like 10% Scottish. And it's like, no, wait a minute. In order for me to have 0 and her to have 10 would mean my dad had 0. If I'm understanding those kind of genetics. I mean, was it a pundit square, I think is what it's called, where you have the big B, little b, big B, little b, I think the chances, though, would be pretty rare for my dad to have had 0 Scottish, or for none of that to have been passed down to me. So it just kind of like raised some questions like, wait a minute, not about like our parentage or anything. I mean, all of us, we all look alike. Even my sisters and I look like our aunts. I mean, you can clearly tell that we are related. But more about like what really is our genetics, and is one of them not as accurate? Whether is 23andMe not as accurate as Ancestry, or vice versa? Hold on a second, I gotta blow my nose. I've kind of always wanted to do the Ancestry just to compare, like, the 23andMe results with the Ancestry results within my own body. Like, do they come back saying the same thing or something different? And obviously, if they come back saying something different, then, you know, I'll have a lot more questions for both companies. But just kind of a start there. Well, I have a half sister that was put up for adoption at birth, and she's trying to figure out her father's side of the family. And so I gifted her an Ancestry kit. Well, it came back with no information on either parent, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on here? So, while I've always wanted to do the Ancestry for myself, I thought this is a good time to do it, because then with my DNA in their system and her DNA in their system, hopefully it connects the two of us to our mother, and at least it'll fill in that side of her family tree. That's where we're hoping anyway. And I'm hoping my Ancestry that report is easier to upload into the GEDmatch program. I never could figure it out how to do it with my 23andMe. So hopefully I can figure it out with Ancestry, but it kind of starts with me getting the kit sent out. Of course, it was, over the weekend, so I had to wait. But yeah. So there's that. My daughter's car is still broken. And right now she is borrowing the car of the person she's renting from. And so we're hoping that we have finally figured it out, because it keeps throwing different codes. Every time we fix something, it throws a different code, and then we fix that, it throws a different code, and we fix that, and it throws a different code. Well, we figured out some stuff, so hopefully this is like the end, and this fixes all of it. But in the meantime, she has to work on Wednesday, and she has to work on Friday. But she's got to be at our house an hour away for Thanksgiving. She doesn't have to be. She wants to be, because her siblings are coming. Well, one of her siblings is coming. So it's a big old car shuffle. Who's on first situation again. So I'm going to go stay with her. Well, I wasn't going to go up this early, but I got a request from the granddaughter. And, those of us that are grandparents know that we don't tell our grandchildren no. Especially when they say that they want you to come see them. If it's possible. If I lived a state away, obviously I would be telling her, no, I can't come see you. But we're an hour apart. So I'm not telling her no. And then instead of me driving up and getting her Wednesday night after work, I'm just going to let her take the truck to work on Wednesday. We'll come home on Thursday for Thanksgiving. She'll drive my truck home so she can drive herself to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And at some point, my husband and my son, my oldest son, are going to drive the trailer back up to Walla, pick up her car yet again, tow it back to the Tri-Cities, work on it, hopefully get it running well enough. Well, not well enough. Get it running for good, so that I could drive it back on Sunday and switch cars and bring my truck home. Which is going to be interesting, because Sunday I FedEx truck weekly. Whereas, seeing them on the road, it might happen only, once every couple weeks. Can't tell where that truck is at. The first couple times that, they delivered, I was like, well, the first time they delivered, let me backtrack on that. The first time they delivered, I didn't know how it came. I didn't know if it was coming USPS, FedEx, UPS. So I was like, just kind of watching and waiting. Well, then I figured out it wasn't going to come USPS because number one, it would have to come in a refrigerated truck. And number two, there was never a tracking number given on USPS. So I knew it wasn't coming that way. So I'm like, okay, FedEx, UPS, DHL. Maybe there's one other mail delivery. So I wasn't outside, but I saw them leave. I got the message. I saw them leave, and then I got the message from FedEx letting me know that my package was delivered. I was like, oh, okay, so it's FedEx. But I've been forcing myself to intentionally, be looking out the window when he pulls in to try to desensitize myself to the mere sight of a FedEx truck. Because it's been years since I wrecked my car. And I don't know that I will ever fully, I've talked about this briefly on other streams. I don't know that I'll ever fully get over the anxiety that comes with all of that. But I'm hoping to at least get it to where it's just like a passing thought of versus a, oh my God, and the stomach starts, getting in knots and cramping up and, feeling like you're going to vomit and the whole gamut. It's been a few years at least since I've had to literally pull over on the side of the road after seeing a FedEx truck, because anybody that's ever been in a major accident, I'm sure knows the feeling I'm talking about. So I guess what I'm hoping for is to get it from major PTSD that it was years ago to just mild anxiety. And it's a good opportunity since it's there all the time. This week was a mess. I did finally get my order today. It was supposed to come in on Friday. I got the email on Wednesday telling me it was running late, but should be within 24 hours of my normal delivery, which would have been Saturday. Fine. Except FedEx doesn't deliver on Saturdays. Apparently they pick up on Saturday because that's when they picked up my food. So it sat in whatever, their storage house or however they do that until this morning. And so I was pretty so I contacted Imperfect Foods, and I said, I just need to know, from the 14th to the 18th, where was my food? Because there was salami in there, chicken, raw chicken, and in sealed packages. So they're marinated chicken. But it's I need to know how that was handled. When the label was created on the 14th, but it wasn't picked up until the 18th by FedEx. From the 14th to the 18th, where was my stuff? The little freezer pack thingies were still frozen, which was good. So they did finally update their tracking app, but it doesn't tell me that. All it says is on the 18th it arrived in Oregon at the distribution center, and then 8 hours later FedEx took possession of it. It's like, okay, well, that still doesn't tell me between the 14th and the 18th where the heck was it. So it's in the freezer for now, and when they answer back, if they say that, depending what they say, we'll determine whether or not I throw it away and request a refund. The rest of the stuff I wasn't super worried about. I mean, it was kind of sucked because it was like the first week that I depended on them for food for my dragons, and so I kind of had to, not that they complained, they got less vegetables and more wormies over the weekend to make their veggies stretch until today. But most of that stuff doesn't require like stable refrigeration, so I wasn't worried so much about that. So I went ahead and chopped those up and got the salad mixed up and put back in the fridge. Things like the chips, obviously, it wouldn't matter how long it sat on the truck, those are fine. I do have my grapes with me because they're looking a little rough. And I don't think that if I left them at home, that when I get home Wednesday night, they're going to be any good. So I brought them with me to share with my moose, who will like scarf down my grapes. What else is going on this week? Well, Thanksgiving, obviously. Do have to finish cleaning the other guest room. I worked on cleaning my craft room with the intention of moving the stuff that belongs in my craft room across in, so that the other room is also set up for an air mattress. And I found out that one set of my kids wasn't coming. I was like, and now my craft room's a mess again. So I have to either clean my craft room and give up my craft room for the week, for the 5 days that the kids are going to be here, so that they can sleep in there and I can leave the other room a mess, or I can go what I was originally planning, get that other room cleaned up so that I still have access to my craft room while they're here. As I can hear people, your family's there, why aren't you visiting with them? We do. But we also all kind of do our own thing. So like the men will be in playing video games, and Lynn will either, be crocheting or she'll be reading the book. So I'll go in and start crafting, So it's just kind of, and then we get back together and we sit down, we watch some movies together, and then we separate and go do our own things again. And it's, that's how we roll. Just discovered a huge hangnail on my toenail. That's gonna bug me. I bring my Alta journal with me and the papers and stuff. I figured out how to get them packed into a single spot, so I when I'm done with one project, I can pack it away, pull out the next one, pack it away, pull out the next one, pack it away. It makes it easy to transport, which is nice. Obviously, I'm not going to work, like I'm not going to do any assembly unless I'm recording. But while I'm up here, I can like go through the stack of papers and decide, which ones I'm going to use next and what's going to go where, and that kind of stuff. Get the papers cut out, trimmed, like I've been doing on the videos, just starting them, already prepped like that. But rather than doing just like the next pockets in line, I'll have time to probably do like the rest of the book. ADHD people in this family. It's like none of us can focus on anything without doing 12 other things at the same time. I was talking with another person with ADHD about that. It's like, if I'm looking at you, I'm not paying attention. I'm not hearing you. I'm not registering. I'm not processing. If I'm fidgeting, if I'm fiddling, if I'm doodling, if I'm texting, then I'm listening. Because I have to partition my brain out that way or I can't focus on anything. Most people with ADHD understand that. People that don't have ADHD typically don't. Even if they have like a spouse or a child that has ADHD, there still seems to be this huge lack of understanding of how that works. It seems to always be a lifetime of, questioning and disgruntled behavior, attitudes about, why aren't you listening to me, or, whatever. At least that's been my experience. Has a spouse, and 2 out of 3 of his children have ADHD. So I think I don't know that he knows how the chemistry part of it works, like the biology part, why it is the way it is. But he definitely has a firm understanding that we function different. And even, and it's not even just an ADHD person functions different. Each ADHD person still functions even different from each other, because we're still different people. So to have 3 of us in the house, it was, a hell of a dynamic to try to figure out how to work around. Trying to get the family out of the house was always a nightmare. Forgot this, I forgot that. Oh wait, thanks for reminding me, I forgot this. And then we start driving away. Oh, I forgot my phone. Oh, I forgot my... Yeah. It was a nightmare. Every day trying to get the family out of the house. But that's why my purse is the way it is. Because having ADHD, putting something in place as simple as, well, always put your keys on the hook. For an ADHD person, that is not always successful, and it never is for me. Because it's 5 feet between the front door and the key hook, but somewhere in those 5 feet, my brain does something completely different, and I'll walk right past the key hook and set my keys down somewhere, and then I can't find them. So this was the best solution, is just to hook them, make sure that I have a long strap on my bag, and I can just strap the keys on there, never have to worry about taking them off, and then I don't ever have to worry about not knowing where they're at. Might be a little tricky and some adjustment, because like I said before, my purse was also my phone holder. It was the size of my phone, and so they all kind of went hand in hand. I never had to worry about not having my debit cards, because if I didn't have my debit card, that meant I also didn't have my keys and I didn't have my phone. So I'm obviously still at home. So go get your stuff. Or if I don't have my phone, then that means I don't have my wallet, which means I don't have my driver's license. It means I also don't have my keys. So it has helped me to at least have that controlled, so that it creates less stress for me when I'm trying to leave the house. And that's what you have to do with ADHD, is you have to adapt. And you can't just listen to one person and be like, okay, I'll do that, because that's not for you. It may not be for you. Some people are list people. I'm a list person. The downside is that I'm also a forget the list person. So I will spend hours going through cookbooks, finding recipes, making a grocery list based off the recipes that I want to try, and then leave the house without the grocery list. Even though the grocery list was with my keys, I'll still forget the grocery list. Happens all the time. Some people are really good about lists. And for me, it really kind of depends on the situation. Like at work, when I was working, I would make checklists, but because they were stationary, I was mostly stationary at my desk. It was in my face all the time. That was helpful for me in getting my tasks done, because it was right there in front of my face. Whereas like the situation with the grocery list, I'm up and down, I'm moving, I gotta grab my stuff, I gotta get dressed, I gotta get my shoes on, there's 12 other million steps in between. I made the grocery list, I'm leaving the house with the grocery list, or leaving the house without the grocery list. There's so many steps in between those two things that gets all cluttered up in there, it gets twisted sideways, and I end up not having what I need. And I think that, honestly, I think that's the biggest, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know how to say it. Like, people constantly are asking, why don't you just go do a load of laundry? Why don't you just, how hard is it to put your shoes in the shoe cabinet when you get home? Why is it so hard? And it's difficult for people that don't have ADHD to understand that each task is an opportunity for our brains to do something different, to get distracted and woohoo, and so you think about a young kid who is still learning skills, what the tasks are to get the shoes into the shoe basket. Okay, off the bus, walk to the front door. Okay, that walk to the front door, how many distractions are there? There's all the pretty rocks on the ground. There's all the animals. Oh, look at the pet dog. Oh, look at the birds. That's a strange looking leaf, right? Well, all of that's now cluttering and fluttering around in the brain. Not to mention everything from the day. All the times, everything that happened at school still fluttering around in there. And now we've added all this stimulus in there. And then we get to the door. Ooh, the door feels weird. The door's hot. The door's cold. What's that smell? Ooh, there's a snack. Wonder what I'm going to have for snack. I haven't even opened the door yet. Right? I get through the door. Getting through the door involves taking the backpack off, taking the coat off, putting your house key up, or, so how many things have happened in the short distance from getting off the bus to walking to the, past the shoe bin, and it's like, it's hard for people to understand how easy it is for an ADHD brain to get distracted. It's not about being lazy. And most of the time, and again, with skills, with learning strategies, as you grow older, you may not develop the strategy to remember to put your shoes in the right place, but you do develop the strategy that later you go back and do it because now your brain isn't as cluttered. Oh yeah, I never did finish that. It's why a lot of times you'll find ADHD kids when there's like one sock on the bed and one sock in the kitchen. How did that happen? I was taking my socks off in the bedroom and I got hungry, and so I walked into the kitchen to get a snack, and while I was eating a snack I realized that I still had one sock on. So I took the sock off, and I was going to take it back to my bedroom when I went, but then I left the sock on the floor. As you grow up and get those strategies, next time you walk through the kitchen, you'd be like, oh, I forgot to take the sock back to my, and you deal with it. But kids haven't learned how to do that yet. And if you've got a kid that is growing up in a home where the parents don't understand ADHD and they're not willing to learn about ADHD and teach and support strategies. And it's not even just about teaching them, it's about supporting them. It's about understanding that your child is different and they have to do things different in order to get things done. And if you, as a parent, are berating them and calling them stupid because they can't figure out how to put their shoes away, you're calling them stupid because they took their socks off in 2 different rooms, that is not going to help them develop coping strategies. That's going to teach them defense mechanisms, and it's not going to address their ADHD at all. And that's the truth of that. But the parents have also got to be willing to learn themselves. Learn about ADHD, learn how to teach and how to support their ADHD kid. And I feel bad looking back because I was diagnosed as an adult, and I was one of those parents that would just get so angry and frustrated with my oldest child because he was so distracted all the time. It was like 5 minutes tops was like his attention span. And it was like, and I was homeschooling him because it was a mess. And it would just drive me crazy. And I'm like, I don't understand why you won't just do it. Well, I understand now. Because I find myself in the same boat. And if I look back, and I think back to, what few little bits of my memory that, my childhood memory that I have, I I could see times where I was displaying that stuff. I was, I should have been diagnosed as a kid, but in the 70s, no, that wasn't going to happen in the 70s. And it sure as heck wasn't going to happen with, my parents. Guilt aside, we as parents can only do what we can with what we know. And when we know better, we do better. So that's all it's kind of where I'm at. Know better, do better. And I know better now. Of course, now my kids are all adults, and we just kind of go, hey, ADHD brain. When we do something, we just kind of look at each other. Uh-huh. Well, now we have little Moose, who is already displaying signs and symptoms of ADHD. She's very much has the hyperactivity. It's like tenfold. She is way more hyper than my oldest ever was. My youngest is ADD. My oldest was ADHD. I'm HD. But a little Moose she's the Energizer Bunny on crack. There's a couple of videos on my channel where, she's just running and 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 running nonstop. She's exhausting to watch. We're all tired by the time she's done. I love the fact that her kindergarten teacher is ADHD focused. I'm assuming that she's done some specialized training into children with ADHD, whether that's through, education units or through having a child of her own that's ADHD. I don't know. But she's very knowledgeable about it, and her classroom is very ADHD friendly. She has special chairs for kids to sit on. She allows fidget toys and fidget jewelry and stuff to help distract. She allows them to doodle in class as long as they do not do it on their schoolwork, which Mina is struggling with that boundary. She starts drawing, and then her paper that she has to turn in is barely legible because it's all full of pictures. So she's having trouble learning that it's okay to doodle and draw, but she needs to doodle and draw on a separate piece of paper. But hopefully we'll get there. And I think that might have a lot to do too, is that, she spent all these years, being told, stop, don't waste paper, color on the back. Look, you still have this spot over here, color on this. And now she's trying to conserve paper by putting everything on one, and, she's being told, don't do that. It's against the rules. So even, we're trying to, she's going to try to draw pictures for a fair. Well, you can't draw on the backs of them because then the impressions come through to the front, or the ink bleeds through to the front and ruins your picture. So it's like, oh, that'll be cute for, and then she flips it over and starts coming, and I'm like, is that she doesn't get off work until 8 on Wednesday. I've already picked up Moose from daycare. No, I won't, because she'll have the truck. I might have to drive her Wednesday so that I can go. I don't know. We'll talk about it, because I think it's only an extra like 10 or 15 minutes. She's got to go pick her up. And it'll be like 10 o'clock by the time I get home. And they'll have already been there, and hopefully not trying to go to bed, because I'm now up here in Walla Walla where I'm not at home cleaning that room. So Wednesday night I may lose my craft room. Not like I'm going to be crafting that late anyway, but because it's cleaner of the two, you can always just, set the air mattress up for the night, and then Thursday go clean the other room. Stuff is still visible, and obviously if I do like, the last 90 days, the last year, whatever, it's going to be present on there, but I usually keep things set at 28 days, so it's going to be nice when, my 28-day history doesn't show any of that yuckiness anymore. Definitely be watching a little more closely. Change lanes drops me. Projects going right now. We've got a diamond painting, we've got a cross stitch, I have the altered book, I have an idea journal, the steampunk clock, the miniature dollhouse. Crazy lady. I've already decided that my word for 2024 is going to be challenge. I'm going to participate in several challenges in the junk journaling world. Continue to challenge myself with models and kits and miniatures, Roxy's Weekly Challenge. I'm going to do Carrie's Perpetual Prompts, but I'm going to do them on a weekly to go along with the other ones. Shabby Dabby Doodos, do her challenge. Turn your lights on, dude. Well, he doesn't have any rear lights. That's nice. I was kind of wanting to do one each day. I only have 4 people so far. I can figure out who else does weekly challenges. Scrappy Saturday, there's Melina's Scrap Busters that are done weekly. They're not really a challenge, it's more about using up your scraps, which I guess in a way is what Roxy does too. What I'm doing with the current altered book, and it's a combination of inspiration from Gail Augustinelli and prompts from Carrie Griffiths. So maybe I could do a combination project of Scrapbusters and Scrappy Saturday, and see if I can take their 2 ideas for the week and combine them into one thing. That would be a challenge. Break away from doing the binding myself. I have 2 huge boxes of books that I just haven't going to donate. They just haven't made it all the way to my truck yet. Now I'm feeling like I need to take a second look through them. Because it's like, oh, this is a recipe book, I don't want it. It's like, well, I don't need more glue books, I got plenty. So it's like, let's just put goes in the donation with it, but now I'm like, oh, but what if the cover's pretty and I can do it as an altered book? I have to go back and look through them all. Just in one box, because the other box is all paperbacks. Can't really do, not really. You can't do altered journals with paperbacks because the spine is a glued spine versus a sewn spine. And if you use a glued spine for altered books, you run the risk of the book falling apart. You show the people are going to be open, close, flip, flop, change the page, pulling stuff in and out. So that's a lot of stress and strain on a page that's only glued in. The one I'm working on right now is glued. I guess I shouldn't say you can't do it. It's not recommended. And to be honest, I forgot about that when I started this one. So I've gone through and sported Fabri-Tac down in each section to like secure the pages in there a little better. It's mine, so I wasn't intending on selling it or giving it away or anything. So if it falls apart, it falls apart. These people, they need to like get on their stuff, because this is like the third vehicle that I've seen breaking the law. Like one ran a red light the other day and almost T-boned us. There was another guy that was flying down the highway, like my husband speeds, kind of like I do, like five over, and this van caught up to us like we were standing still, flew past us, and was out of sight. And it was a van full of people, and now this guy's driving with no taillights. It's like, they need to check their fleet, because that's not a company I would trust. I say, wow, there's a lot of people out this late, but it's only 5 o'clock. Feels so much later because it's so dark. Roads paved. About time, about time, about time. Whereas now I almost feel like I don't know where I'm going. It's been so long since I've been able to turn down the right road, you know? Now it's like, did I turn too early? This doesn't look familiar. Yeah, well, duh. It's because you haven't been on this road in like 3 months. And it's nighttime. All right. Well, we're here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.